So yes, it has been incredibly challenging for everybody, and I think added to that, everyone has gone through this existential crisis while going through the practical challenges of COVID-19. What do I want to do with my life? And now you've got the added pressure of maybe the results that you didn't expect and the disappointment around that. The long-awaited 2020 Matric results are out, and unfortunately, I think there are going to be many disappointed students and obviously parents out there who did not achieve the desired results to enter a degree course. But this is not the end of the road. I say that emphatically, as there are numerous options available that can ensure a successful future and a graduate entry into the workplace, maybe the perfect fit for you that you wouldn't have discovered otherwise. And to tell us more about these options is education specialist Alicia. Hello, Alicia, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Important times. It's not the end of the road. I think if we start by speaking directly to, because it's a team, the parents and those students, but to those that are disappointed, that feel like their world has fallen apart because they didn't get that bachelor's pass, as has been mentioned so often, there are other options available. It's not the end of the road.
I think it's so important that parents and students, because it is a team effort. And what happens as well, in that matric year, the communities become involved and relatives you haven't heard of are calling you to ask how the exams went. So I think it's key that people realize this is merely a semicolon. It's not the end of the road or the destination. It is the signal that your sentence needs to go on and you need to find a new way to continue your story. It's a redirection of sorts.
Completely, and boy, hasn't this year been about redirections. And I'm learning now in retrospect that some of those have been the best, most beneficial redirections for me in my life, and I wouldn't have discovered that without. And you're going to go through these kind of challenges throughout the rest of your adult life. You will have failures, you're going to have to pick yourself back up, and you're going to have to redirect your course and your intentions. So what are some of those options available to those that didn't get the bachelor's?
All right, so I think what's critical to note is everyone looks for that bachelor's pass because they view it as a signal that you're now going to enter into university studies and you'll achieve your degree, and that's a great start to life that most parents envision for their children, that a lot of matriculants envision for themselves. And when they get that pass, that's a higher certificate or diploma, they often think this means the end of my journey now, I'm not going to get in. But there's so many options available to them that will allow them to still pathway onto the degree qualification that they have dreamed of their entire lives. So it's critical to recognize that you can go into a higher certificate. Once you've successfully completed that, enter into degree studies. So it's not the end.
You can have the best of both worlds. And listen, a university degree is not a guarantee of a job.
Absolutely, especially not in this world that we're living in right now.
Yeah, no, completely. It's just another step, again, another challenge that you've got to face along the way. Talk me through what's available at Stadio. I hope I'm saying that right. The different programs that are available through that.
Firstly, spot on. We have 5 faculties. So what is key to recognize, I think, and why I want to mention the spread of 5 faculties is that when we were growing up, there's traditional, okay, I'm old, right? There's traditional qualifications. You could become teacher, lawyer, and we do offer that. But I think far more than that, qualifications have diversified to look at becoming part of the creative economies, media and design, engaging in IT, science and technologies. And of course, we do offer your traditional commerce qualifications, teaching, law, and all of the rest.
I love that, and I like the idea of being maybe a bit more practical in applying it to a career path as opposed to just having a fantastic degree. But what's the next step? Is it going to be viable? Is there perhaps a mentality that learners need to adapt, a shift in thinking around private higher education, do you think?
I always find it so ironic that private secondary education is regarded as far superior than the other kind, whereas when we get to tertiary education, people wonder, there's a little bit of reservation. So I think it's key to shift your mindset to understand that the rigorous quality assurances that the publics have to face, the checks, the DHET validations, all of the private registered accredited tertiary education institutions do that as well.
There's a standard. There's a stock set standard. And maybe there is a future waiting for you on a slightly different path. I'm going to ask you to stick around because I've got plenty more questions, as I'm sure our matriculants and our parents have got. Please stay with us. We have got more very useful information for our matriculants and our parents coming up. Stick around.